Helsinki and Finland are known for their quality of living. In fact, the country is known to be one of the happiest countries in the world. In the middle of all of this sits Helsinki Business Hub, the regional development agency for the capital region. Today we have Sandeep Shah with Helsinki Business Hub and Stanny JD working with PrEver. Let's talk to them and get to know what Helsinki Business Hub do. Welcome to YourStory. Tell us about Helsinki Business Hub. What does it do exactly? How did the inception come about, and what is the primary working?
Thank you, Sutrishna, for having us here. It's a great pleasure.
Thank you so much.
You're
be here.
welcome.
Going a little bit to the background. Actually, Stanny and his colleagues, Mohamin and Mohamin Saidu and Mohan Krishna, were working for a advanced analytics company focused on the airport sector, and called Grey Matter, and we invited them to come to Finland and go through the journey of creating a successful company in Finland and going global. And from that experience we got to know these great fellas, and together I think we had a great idea of actually replicating this to the Indian market and finding other great Indian companies that we could bring and take through the Finland journey.
We saw what Finland is all about, and the platform that was so conducive for growth and acceleration of growth, and this is something which was sorely missing in most of the other ecosystems, or we had opportunities to go to Singapore and some of the counties in UK with a similar promise, but we saw things were very different on the ground in Finland, and specifically in the Helsinki region. I mean, it was a close-knit group. The collaboration was very strong. It was not just a byword. It was collaboration really happening on the ground, and this is what makes it different to startups who are on a growth journey and who needs a lot of support from the ecosystem. And this is what we found was very, very attractive in the Helsinki Business Hub, as well as the entire region. And Helsinki Business Hub, of course, was the pivot around which all our initiatives were revolving around.
So Sandeep, if you can tell us what are the sectors that you primarily focus on, and as we know, your touch point in India is PrEver. So if you can talk about the journey a bit, how did that collaboration happen? We know that. So how are you working towards these sectors, if you can talk about it?
Right. So my primary focus is ICT and digitalization. When you look at Helsinki Business Hub, we also have the focus areas of smart and clean tech, and then also health tech and life sciences. And actually, they do describe the companies that we try to find also in India. Mostly it is on the ICT and digitalization side, but we've had some companies also on the smart tech side, and then health tech definitely.
There are quite a few from the health tech and healthcare industry as well.
So which are the top sectors that you would say which are seeing the maximum growth in that region? And what are the benefits and impetus that Helsinki Business Hub provides to them?
I think definitely it's the ICT and digitalization, especially as it goes across different industries. So what we do is we invite the companies, and we are the personal guides for these companies. I think the region has a lot to offer in terms of the support that is provided, the networks and the ecosystems, and at the same time it's important to have a navigator there as Helsinki Business Hub to help the companies to really leverage what we have to offer there.
So as a new startup, what are the challenges a new company faces when they are moving into a different region, and how does Helsinki Business Hub come into play in that aspect?
Right. So at a point when the company comes to Finland, we have already done a lot of screening and developing and coaching the company, especially through our partner PrEver here in India. So they are quite well prepared when they come there. We create a visit program for them that especially caters to what the company is focused on and what their needs are, what their requirements are.
Right.
When you ask about challenges, maybe the challenges or just action points, I would call that that they need to go through are more to do with the company setup, certain legal requirements related to the company setup, the bank accounts, and all of that. And we help with all of those areas as much as possible.
We have gone through that journey so many times now with 25 plus companies that we have taken.
So far you have had 25 plus companies.
That's right. That's right. From India,
that's impressive.
And they are mostly from Bangalore, Hyderabad, Mumbai, Pune.
And how long has it been for Helsinki Business Hub since the inception?
The Helsinki Business Hub has been around for 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah. We have worked with PrEver since 2015.
And our journey together has been more than 5 years, in fact. You know. So the first 2 or 3 years were very exciting and a learning platform. And then after that we got engaged officially as a partner, and that started in 2015.
Okay. So one question that naturally comes to mind is, why look at Helsinki? Like, tell us about the startup ecosystem there, about the working atmosphere, what are the work ethics, and why should companies, Indian companies specifically, look at the Helsinki ecosystem? Also, what are the advantages that it has over, let's say, Indian ecosystem or across the world?
Yes.
Maybe we can start with you.
Right, definitely. So what we have there is a really a unique setup of public entities, small companies, larger companies, support entities such as ours. There's also other organizations that are more focused on certain industries or certain industry clusters, and just the way how everybody works together. So once you get there, once you arrive there and get in touch with us, we really help you get connected and leverage all these different areas.
When you say get connected, if you can elaborate on that, because it involves so many other pointers, right? So from networking to understanding how the market works, if you can elaborate on that.
What we like to say, and which is very much true, is Finland is a club, basically. So everybody is a phone call away. You have experienced it many times.
It operates just like a club. I mean, we need more than a couple of hours to give a description of how it works, because although it is so complex, but it is again so simple, to get connected. I mean, and when you meet another person, who is highly accomplished in his or her field, I mean, they don't bat an eyelid to let you get connected to the others around in that industry, and that's like happens right away.
So you're saying like the advantages of a close-knit community.
Close-knit community, and they don't mind helping anybody and whoever comes in, and they don't mind giving an appointment even when you are just maybe there for 2 days and at a short notice. You don't find these things around the world. You don't find that in India.
I think I mentioned already a couple of times that it's a very agile business environment. With agility is also closely related is speed. So that is an advantage for also Indian companies. How fast they can get connected and how fast they can leverage the different opportunities for them to really fulfill the promise that they have with the great innovation, great product that they have, and that I think is a very important factor that we can provide there. We have great companies here in India, and we think that we can provide a really good platform to take a closer look at and really leverage.
So it's not that India doesn't have this kind of ecosystem.
Course,
it has,
yeah.
but it is so huge.
Yeah, and it's there in pockets.
And it is. We have 29 states. We have almost like 30 countries. We have the entire EU in one country.
Right.
So it is possibly not kind of feasible for these kind of collaboration to happen on the ground.
Right,
it
all
is
like
challenging.
brought into one place.
It is challenging, and you get lost. Startups get lost, whereas you will not get lost in this ecosystem. You will be sheltered. You will be protected. You will be taken along with the.
And since you have been personally involved, who to know that better than you, right?
Exactly. So we have experienced it over and over again. We have experienced the talent pool that they have there, the way they operate, the way things. Unlike in India, that's one major differentiator. Wherein talent, when they come out of the universities in India, they need at least 2 or 3 years to get prepped up for work, and they are work ready. Whereas in Finland, this is the biggest difference. The talent there, they are work ready from the day one. When they are out of the universities, because they collaborate constantly with industry. They collaborate with industry on various projects right from first year of their degree. So that means that they know exactly what's happening in the world. They know exactly what's happening in the markets. So that's again a huge differentiator.
Earlier when we were talking, I remember you told me something about technical know-how. That's where Finland and especially Greater Helsinki's place comes in. So what are the specific opportunities for a tech entrepreneur, if you can elaborate that?
Yes, that's good. I was just going to that topic. So we have talked about ecosystems and support and networks. So at the same time, it's a very healthy development ecosystem. So when you look at like the application of technology and research for companies, what we provide there is a really excellent piloting platforms for many of these tech companies with advanced test beds. And we have the smaller companies, the bigger companies are involved, but then we also have the cities being involved. So the cities have many needs and requirements, and they're also involved there, and that provides an opportunity for these companies to really go out there and pilot and test their products, and at the same time create some powerful references for themselves for the European market. Right.
So when we speak of tech, we have to speak of clean tech right now, because that is one sector that the world is looking at right now. Adoption of clean energy is another offshoot of that. So have you had many startups in that sector, or what are the kind of impetuses that you are providing, if you can talk about that?
Could you start with this?
Yeah, so we have a couple of startups and companies which were into clean tech, whom we have taken in the initial part of our journey, and they found interesting collaboration and interesting stuff in Finland, where it resonated with what they needed, and then that journey goes kind of is going on even now, and then it's interesting that the kind of advantages they were able to derive from that journey. So now they are on auto mode, so we really don't know what's happening. It was in our early stages.
So I could give one example of a startup company. So and also have their permission to say their name. So Foresight, which is into reproductive health, really like innovative reproductive health. I would say, and Vijay Gopal.
Vijay Gopal.
Is the CEO.
He's the founder and the Chief Innovation Officer.
Correct. Right. I want to highlight that case because they have done everything right. They have come to Finland, and they have looked at the kind of the preliminary action points, as I described, the company setup and all that. But before that, he came actually to Finland around Slush, which is the biggest startup event. We can talk about that a little bit later. Which is a massive opportunity to network. It's not just about Finland. It has about 18,000 participants
I think more than that.
And globally.
Okay.
Yeah.
So which year was this?
This
How
is
long
every
has it-
year
Okay.
around November, December.
November,
time.
December.
Okay.
That's why it's
Okay.
called slush.
Right.
That's the period in Finland where
Right.
the ice melts and it becomes like slush. You know, the Indian this thing is gola. You know, that's the slush.
Correct.
So that's how the ice becomes.
So that's another interesting Indian connect you
Yeah.
have.
Gola, which we used to have when we were youngsters.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Yes.
Even I have had it. So
Yeah.
I know. So timing the visit to our event, that is a great opportunity to network.
Right.
Network at the same time as you're having a visiting program and you're meeting different companies and different entities there, and then also getting engaged with relevant programs that are there. So the Aalto University, which is the major university there,
Right.
in the capital area, has a startup program.
Okay.
So he got connected to an event and had meetings with different relevant organizations there. Got into a program that's
Right.
that's
Right
run,
away.
that's run
This happened
locally.
within 15
Okay.
days.
And
So
and
I guess
then
that's
after that,
another advantage. Then the time period is
Yes.
cut short.
Yes,
Yes.
it is.
Yeah.
It is. It's
Yeah.
a major advantage,
Mhm.
and it all depends on the Indian companies
Yeah.
how well they take advantage
Right.
of these
Right.
platforms.
Right.
and these programs, provide great opportunity, and then they have also coaching within those programs and really great help. In addition, he engaged with the well-known, high caliber
Right.
doctor in this field in Finland,
Mhm.
And she validated
Right.
his product.
she validated and who has actually great access to different hospitals within Europe actually. So I'm just highlighting this case because
Correct.
they have
It
done.
makes for these interesting stories
yes,
that you come
yes.
along.
And also, he has a medical device
Uh-huh.
which needs to be certified.
Okay.
So this doctor is also going to assist him and
Okay.
his company in the certification
Right.
of this medical device.
Right,
It's called ASHRAE, if I
Okay.
remember right. So.
And on top of this, I think we can later on cover the topic of what are the qualifying criteria. But kind of related to that, then he also went through an investment round here in India,
Yeah.
which gave him also financial
Right.
capability to do this internationalization plan.
Right. So this exactly brings us to our next question, which is like, when you are looking at a startup, or let's put it the other way around, a startup looking at working opportunities in the Finnish ecosystem, what are the key pointers that they should check off their list before they can approach you guys? Or what are the key pointers that you are looking for in a particular startup? The screening pointers, if you can elaborate on that.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Yes,
yeah.
because you are our eyes and ears here, and
Yes,
we have
right.
tasked you
That's
to
right.
find the
Right.
right kind of companies.
Right.
Yeah. So. A startup with an evolved growth story in the sense.
What do you mean by evolved growth?
What I mean by that is, they should have had at least a minimum of 2 or 3 years of journey.
Okay.
And from our experience, that is what it takes to, come to a
Right.
threshold level
Right.
where we are looking at filtering these companies who are ready to go to the Finland
Okay.
platform.
Okay. So,
So-
I'll just want to ask, why not new companies? Why not a new founder?
Because Finland themselves have a very
Right.
strong ecosystem of startups
Right.
where who are in that category.
Right.
And
right.
and these Indian startups will get lost there. We
Ah.
don't want them to get lost there.
Okay.
And when you are new, when your product or the idea is not validated by the market in terms of some success cases and success stories in terms of customer and some kind of revenues to
Right.
kick in, it will be very difficult for them. They will get lost and they will burn money.
Right.
And it doesn't make sense.
So you're saying a kickstart first and then you...
Yeah, a kickstart, validate your idea and product, get some customers under the belt, get some investor support in terms of seed investments or, pre-series A or, couple of rounds of funding.
Right.
That gives you that confidence.
Right.
And then after that, the acceleration that you need in terms of, market access, in terms of entry into new markets, testing and validating your product.
So if you can roughly point out the time period, if you have that in mind, how much time period a startup should have spent before they look at?
Typically at least 2 years.
Okay.
Or if in exceptional cases, an idea and a product which is already validated.
Have you had some exceptional cases like that?
Oh yeah, we have. In fact, that is one of the most evolving success story of our journey, Durang.
Okay.
They're pretty
if we
young.
can know a little bit about the company.
So
right. So
you can go ahead.
Yeah, Durang and Ramesh Cosetti is leading the company. The Indian origin company,
based in Hyderabad, and they have a US presence, a strong US presence in Nashville.
Nashville, yeah. Yes. Right. About him, I really liked his strong attitude when he came to Finland. So he knew he has a great product, great innovation. It's competitive, not just locally competitive, but globally competitive and attractive. Attractive product also in terms of the innovation and related to the pricing factor. So it's I won't go too much into details, but it's in this security domain, so surveillance and
so he's into computer vision and analytics using cameras and
so behind that you go into AI, machine learning, analyzing data in an advanced way. So very very high tech company, and he came to Finland. We had our visiting program. He got familiar with the ecosystem and really liked what he saw there, and did similarly he did see that this is a platform that he wants to grow upon.
If you remember his winning pitch.
His winning pitch.
In a nutshell, I can tell you his winning pitch was the validation of his product and idea globally and in the European market, and how his business plan around the European market and the US market, and plus the customer base that he already had. Right.
So basically, all you budding entrepreneurs and startup founders, you know exactly what kind of pitch you should go for, right?
That's right. That's right. So if you have customers and if you have a product or an idea that is validated by the market, and maybe more than one market, it makes sense to just come to Finland.
So when you were screening these companies, startups, also are you looking at startups majorly or SMEs, if you can elaborate on that? And what are the pointers, as well as if you have faced any challenges that you would want to mention while looking for these companies in India, any specific challenges that you can...
We primarily focus on SMEs.
Right.
That's true.
Any particular reason for that? Is it that same validation?
Yeah, same validation where they have had an evolved business growth story. They have They have customer base. They have revenues, a little bit of revenue streams, and they are sure of their growth path.
This also comes from our learnings. So we have found great companies with great innovations, but it's very important that the company has also certain capability in terms of financial strength also, because going international requires it does require financial resources in addition to human resources, time and effort. And we see that and that's why we have worked a lot recently with more of the SME companies. Having said that, we do appreciate really kick-ass, top-notch startup companies. And we go through this process with those startup companies, but we do have quite a few startup companies also
and we
in,
do
in
a lot
our,
of
in our
hand-holding.
portfolio.
Right.
We do a lot of hand-holding because we ourselves have been entrepreneurs and
Right.
we have gone through that grind. We have
Right.
gone through those heartaches. We have
Right.
gone through, those pains when the cash flows don't come in.
Since you have been through that, what was your biggest heartache in that situation?
Well, cash flows.
Right.
What else can I say? I mean,
Right.
you ask any entrepreneur or a startup. I mean, cash flows are the challenges that you face.
Right.
In spite of getting funded initially, and how you manage your finances in a situation which is as tight as, especially when you're growing in new markets, you need lots of money.
Right.
So you always had no issues in getting in getting clients.
Yeah, so getting clients is one thing, then servicing them in these markets, in new markets, that costs money too.
Okay.
So of course investors do help in, but it's a tricky situation. So
Right. So when I
think
at
one thing that
yes,
I haven't maybe attitude is very important.
Yeah.
attitude, yes.
That never give up attitude.
There has to be ambition and hunger and appetite
Okay.
is what we.
That's right.
And
What we
how do you see that?
And-
Like everyone, obviously, no one will claim that I'm not ambitious, but
Yeah, that's
you,
a good question because it always goes a little bit back to the previous point also that maybe we have seen some of those characters that have had that.
It's interesting how you call them character.
In a positive way.
Yeah.
In positive way.
Yeah,
in
of
positive
course.
Way. So really ambitious, really energetic, and really confident. That has to be combined with the other factors that we described. But it is one of the key components, definitely, for the entrepreneur.
For sure.
For the entrepreneurs.
So when I look at the entire body of work that you guys are doing, it feels like you're literally helping startups, whether from India or from any other part of the world, set up their establishment in the Finnish ecosystem, right?
Yes.
So in a way, you are promoting a cross-border business. So where do you see that headed in let's say 2 years time period? What is the future of this cross-border development, and are they reaching out only to the Finnish market and the Indian market, or is it a more global reach? If you can talk about it.
Yeah, that's a good question. So what we look for and are kind of born global companies,
Right.
with a very global mindset.
Okay.
And we offer a platform in Finland for these companies to come there and like truly become what they were meant to become, truly grow from Finland, and especially leverage the innovation ecosystem there.
Right.
They have product development, they have innovations, taking those to the next level from Finland, and then going for the global market.
Right.
So it's more than India, Finland cross-border. So it's basically coming there, kind of recreating their brand also at the same time, and then going global from Finland.
Let's take a quick question we have from our viewers. How do you help product companies from India work with Finnish companies?
Right. So of course, a part of the let's go like to the first visit.
Okay.
So if a company comes for a visit, part of that visit is we connect with these different networks, these different ecosystems. We have their other support organizations, than ours, also the national one, the Business Finland organization, and then also part of the program we find matching companies in Finland that are relevant for the Indian visiting company. And a key thing there also is to be prepared, and I think we also help there in preparing the Indian company to interact with the Finnish company.
So we started off talking about the quality of living in Finland, and I would really want to ask you guys one question, since you have experienced it firsthand. How does a startup founder or an entrepreneur's life change, or the quality of life changes when you are basing yourself in a place like that, where everything is assimilated? You don't need to run to 10 different places. You have mentors, you have people hand-holding you. So if you can talk about the quality of living and
I can say one small sentence.
Yes.
You know, if you are in a city called Espoo,
Right.
which was Espoo,
Right.
yeah, it's spelled ESPOO. Finland as a country is known as the happiest country in the world.
Right.
Within Finland, there is this city called Espoo,
right.
which is
within,
part of
within Greater Helsinki.
which is part of Greater Helsinki region.
Correct.
That city was I think in 2018 or 2018 it was rated as the happiest city in Europe.
Okay.
And perhaps the world. I'm not sure. So
all right.
yeah.
All
So
right.
so Espoo is a place where it's almost 70 or 80% of the city is under forest cover.
Okay.
Can you imagine a startup
Yeah.
founder and a tech entrepreneur?
It's like you never have to work.
Yeah, sitting under that kind of forest cover
Right.
on a stone and
Right.
doing his innovation.
Right. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, and with a lake as a backdrop,
Right.
or
Right.
white snow on the trees. I mean,
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
So
that's just one small part. I think
Right.
Sandeep will tell more.
Happiest city in the world.
Yeah.
I guess we can conclude on that note. Yes, you.
Yeah, I can just quickly. I mean, of course, also an entrepreneur in Finland has to work hard, has to work long hours.
Right.
But it's definitely it is in Finland what we have. What we have and we are strong in is work-life balance.
Correct.
So there's I met a lot of Indian executives that have set up companies there. They've said that they really would like to live in Finland.
They don't want to go back.
So the quality of life is present everywhere.
Right. So after all, as you said, it's the happiest place. I hope that serves some inspiration to all our founders and entrepreneurs out there. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Right.
Yeah.